Hey everyone, today I want to tell you about why the internet and social media is changing the world. And it has changed the world and it will continue to change the world tremendously. By social media, I mean social networks like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and so forth. And also by the internet, I am specifically focusing on uh, pretty much the whole thing, but news articles, blogs, everything, websites, news websites, and so forth. Now, what is going on with this? This is very, very important for businesses to understand, and they don't really acknowledge it, and I don't think most of them completely understand it yet. The internet and all this is technically still very new. It's a baby. In fact, in the last 100 years, all this has come about: television, radio, and um, automobiles, airplanes, and who knows what the next 100, 200, 500 years will bring. Most likely, it will impact the world even more immensely, and we're just going to go exponentially up. But putting that aside, the internet for businesses is very, very, uh, very interesting because customers, people who had really no voice before, people who were just your average Joe Schmo, the average person who had a limited social network of maybe 5 to 10 friends, wasn't super influential in any way. These people can have dramatic effects now, thanks to the internet. Their opinions can ripple across the world. Um, Now, obviously, they're still competing against many other reviews. When you have a review on a product on Amazon, there's maybe 500 people giving that review sometimes. Usually it's around 100 actually. And for you to be at the top, you have to be the most helpful. But if someone or something happens to do something that's very impactful, let's say a great incident, a great example is when a shipping service, I believe it was UPS, they were filmed through the security camera um, from a consumer. They were filmed dropping off the package and just very lackadaisically throwing it over the gate. And you could visibly hear the huge package, which was some sort of technology, it may have been a laptop. You visibly heard and saw it crash over and fall on the other side of the ground. That sort of horrible customer service that can leave a huge impact on any customer who is aware of it, that average Joe Schmo customer, anonymous customer, can now take that, put it on the internet, and it will just blow up. And things businesses could have gotten away with maybe 50 years ago, uh, they can't now, and the results can be catastrophic. So what happened with this video was it was posted on Reddit, which I'm very familiar with. It is a community where pretty much you upvote and downvote new things that come in almost on a minute by minute basis, and the top stuff gets to the top of the feed in each category, whether it's news, video games, or whatever. And this thing went huge. It went viral. Obviously, there's a lot of repercussions. This one event, which years ago would have gone unnoticed, thanks to technology, was filmed through a security video camera, uploaded to Reddit, then upvoted on Reddit to be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even 1 million people, which then in turn talked about this, maybe even shared it with their own social media, spreading it 10 times as far, and slash or talking to their friends and family about this. So if a business makes a exceptionally bad move that makes a deep impact on a customer, and that customer can now um, share this, and if it's something that most customers will have a deep impact on viewing, it can blow up. And on the other side of it, the exact opposite can happen where something very positive can occur, where a great extra gesture can go a long way. Now, this is much, much harder to achieve, but it's one of those things that's it's also quite interesting because what's really happening is the amplification is changing, um, nothing more really, and therefore good events, if you play it properly as a business, can create a 10 times, a million times factor as well. Moving on from that, because this video is already 6 minutes long, let me just quickly move over to relationships. Businesses can now form deeper relationships with specific customers. Now, what does this mean? It means that, um, first off, relationships are key. Um, think of the local business who, for whatever reason, um, has that local niche. Maybe it's like a mom and pop business and they sell meat. There are customers out there still to this day who, despite acknowledging that if they had bought this product online, um, let's not use meat, let's say furniture, they could get it cheaper and it may be better. But they choose to get with this local meat producer, or furniture producer, and they do it because they have a relationship with this person and they would rather do it with this person. And that stuff actually happens even to this day. Gary Vaynerchuk actually, he admitted this in his book, The Thank You Economy. Basically, he said that he had this huge online wine presence, and essentially he got an email from a customer saying that, I love your product, it's great, it's cheaper, it's probably better quality, and I can get it for cheaper, but I have a great relationship with the local wine store and I'm going to stick with them. So with the internet, however, despite that being an opposite example where the relationships in the local market, you can now form deep relationships with people you could not reach before unless you knew them face to face. And therefore, with these relationships, you can bring loyalty and trust, and it will just grow your network. And from there, you can have that same sort of effect, that same sort of economic goodwill that just the pure business alone can't return. Um, and that can be quite amazing. Now, generating that's another story, but finding the perfect ground to do so is also interesting. I've heard stories of people who've actually they're part of businesses, and as their business Twitter, they've actually reached out to people who were only indirectly related to their product, um, and sent them stuff about non-related interests. So what do I mean? A man tweets about a band. This business literally sends a tweet to this man and says, "Hey, give us your address, and we will send you a CD album of this band, the newest one that just came out, free of charge, no strings attached." And it'll do this, and that's one of those huge things. I mean, obviously, there's a psychological bias there of uh, where consumers and people in general can't really take something, a gift for free without returning something. But more so than that, it's like it's a very interesting way. Is it overboard? Is it too much? Because this man may have no relation to this business. He may have a slight interest in the business. In this example, actually, it was actually a fairly related thing. So I think the business uh, sold guitars or something like that, and the person who tweeted about this band um, tweeted earlier, maybe weeks ago, about uh, loving guitars. So there's this indirect thing there, but is it worth the price you're paying for that CD? Um, However, it is building some level of relationship. Um, but I think that's an example of maybe going a little bit too far. And the source of that is, again, another one of Gary Vaynerchuk's books, Jab, 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 Right Hook, um, where he illustrates this. And I think generally I don't think you want to go that far, but you want to build, uh, really deliver the product. And I think, again, that's one of the things that I see a huge reoccurring event when I read Sam Walton, who created a $1 billion company. And when I read Gary Keller's One Thing book on business and success, deliver to the customer the ultimate experience. Give the customer as much as he wants as you can. And from there, boom, everything else will just flow. Now, that will obviously might mean increased expenses and so forth, but ultimately that all boils down. And with this magnification effect with the internet and all this other stuff, you can create a lot of economic goodwill, which pretty much means um, this customer is probably going to tell all his friends and family. It's going to spread. It's free PR, free marketing. From there, there's even more crazy stuff like uh, everyone has deep loyalty to the product. They buy 10 times more than they would the time before, and on and on and on. But again, it's not that simple in terms of creating it. I mean, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy to execute. Um, it's simple in that all you have to do is uh, pretty much deliver to the customer what everything he wants. And that's all I really want to say in a nutshell. And as always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button down below. If you're an ambitious person who wants to do more for yourself, go ahead and check out some of the other videos on my channel by clicking my name down below. I'm sure there's other videos out there that will help you just as much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.